pen. I'm sorry that I have anxiety. Okay, and honestly, yeah, it is kind of the fault of people like you that want to come up here and bully and berate me over something that I don't do. Okay, so cut the shit. It's not a vape. All right, it's an anxiety pin, and God, the amount of times that I've asked you to respect me and respect my anxiety pin is, at this point.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki and I'm just another brown girl in America. Don't forget to hit the like and share this video. Hit the like button, go ham on it, share the video, drop a comment, and share it to your family and friends too, so we can all get to it. But today, I ran across a topic that I want to talk about. Very, very interesting. I think it's very interesting, but we're going to look at a clip from Anton Daniels, a panel, the Q show with Island Girl Q. Go check that out on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Central. If you get a chance, pretty dope show. But with that being said, we ran across a panel and the discussion is about liberals and Democrat men. Okay, now it has been said for a little bit now, and it's kind of been a topic of discussion on the conservative side, and looks like now some on the lib side. But are Democrat men, liberal men, identify as liberal or identify as Democrat, are they weaker men? Are they considered the strong men? Or is it a men? Because some will argue that the Democratic Party is full of women, the LGBT, and feminine men, low testosterone men. Okay? That's just what they say. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay? That's all they say. So we're going to see. But we're going to, don't want to make this video long because you know how I can ramble on. We're going to take a look at this panel and see what they discussing, and then we'll take a look at some other stuff and kind of bring this all together. So without further ado,
let's talk about it. In one of my last videos I did, I said that real men are not liberal. Just the fact that that exact statement in that video that I made got so much attention, it just shows that there's some truth to that statement. Obviously, parties do not define whether you're a real man or not, but the party that you affiliate with says a lot about your character and what kind of man you are. Real men lean more traditional because masculinity lies in its original truth, which is purpose and family. And mainstream society hates to hear that, but that is the truth. Conservatism leans more towards hard work and accountability and discipline. A man's man is going to lean more towards traditional values, which conservative parties lean more towards respecting those values. Every party affiliates with different morals and values. Left and right values and morals are completely different and are focused on complete different things. An exact political party doesn't mean that you're a real man, but affiliating and contributing to a specific political party 100% determines what kind of man you are. Real men lean more towards conservative values because those conservative morals and values contribute more towards a man being in his healthy masculinity and contributing to the actual family more so than the liberal morals and values do.
So I'm gonna come to Molly. Women are having a little bit of a debate, right? And I didn't play the other video that I had. I don't think it's necessary. Some women are saying, oh my God, I can't find a liberal man, a guy that aligns with me from a political party. You know, where's all of the liberal men at, right? A liberal men that want to really get into a relationship with a woman. And then on the flip side, you got women like her that's basically saying liberal men basically aren't real men, right? We don't want them. What do you think about this whole conversation about women saying that they can't find a man that aligns with them politically, and then the other side of the conversation where women are saying liberal men aren't really real men?
As far as liberal men not being, I'm not gonna say real men, I don't want to say that, but not as masculine as conservative men. I do think that that's true because especially when we were going through the whole Kamala versus Trump political thing before the elections, sorry, before the elections took place on the Q show, we would see like a lot of the ideologies from the more liberal minded men. And it's not, if you're a woman who wants somebody to lead, a liberal man is not. It's just not, he's not it. I feel like liberal men serve too many masters compared to more conservative leaning men because they are more traditional. They do like the more traditional roles in households and relationship dynamics. And as far as liberal women looking for liberal men, I feel like I don't know how they're not finding them because they're out here. They need to go find them a black man. They're definitely out here.
I
So
think that
I don't know about
most black men are more liberal.
for sure. Yes, yes. The worst thing you could be is a black man is a conservative black man.
Mm.
You're gonna be a bootlicker, you're gonna be a coon, you're gonna be everything, you're gonna be a sellout. You have to be liberal. So if that's what they're looking for, they definitely need to go and find them the average 80% of black men. They out there. And they
That's
love them
you.
some
You can't
liberal white women for sure.
you can't say average and then say 80%.
Above average. So that's
Gary,
crazy. They be on dating apps. I don't know how they're not finding these men.
Carrie, what are your thoughts?
I would argue that I don't want them to be together. I think that they need a healthy balance. That's what I think the libs need, especially those extreme ones, like the extreme liberal men and the liberal women. They don't need to be mixing because that's how you get people trying to trans kids. They need a healthy balance. I don't know how it's gonna come to that, but well, they just well, I mean, I guess they're not really procreating that much anyway because most of them are part of the LGBTQ community and you cannot procreate like that. But I mean, I think Molly right. Like lately, it's like the liberal men are just kind of more soft, more feminine, more just accepting of anything, and they let women run them and run over them. So that's not a good thing. Oh my God. So yeah, I don't think that they should be mixing. That's all I had to say. I'll be back.
Um, I think that it would be difficult to find um, the type of a man that you would really want. And I hate that I'm generalizing this, but I think it would be difficult to find the kind of man that you would probably really want in a true liberal man. Primarily because I think what we define as liberal today points heavily in the direction of things having to do with gender, sexuality, um, things that technically should should go against your moral compass. And I think that a more traditional masculine man has more traditional, very defined values. So even if they accept people, they're not afraid to say that they don't agree with that, agree with it. And I think that there are a lot of men who are not willing to say, I disagree with this. I disagree with what liberal represents. And to me, that's yielding. That's yielding on some of the very things that would make up what would make, in my opinion, a man. Again, I don't want to say, like Molly said, I don't want to say not a real man, but uh, uh, uh,
Mm-mm. No, don't be nice, Carrie. They not. They not. They not real men. See, that's what I'm saying. Carrie too nice. Carrie I love her. She's a sweet girl, but right, she try to be too nice. Girl, bump that. I tried it. It's not working. I'm telling you right now, you got to stand 10 toes down with these demons when they try to come at you. So they not quiet, they not meek, and they ain't nice about it. So here we go. No, they are. Man, I will argue at this point. It's a lot of them. That's bisexual. They wear their fingernails painted. Even the rappers, even the ones that advocate and try to push us back to the Democratic plantation, fingernails painted, pearls, just skirts. But you know they want to normalize it and try to make it like it's regular, like it's normal when you have these so-called hard rappers. But the DD case just proved that we know why they wearing dresses now. I mean, I'm just saying.
I think that it would be difficult to find the type of a man that you would really want. And I hate that I'm generalizing this, but I think it would be difficult to find the kind. So
you wouldn't want to be in a relationship with a man that's liberal, basically.
not by today's standards of what I think liberal is. No, because I'm thinking, and I try to not get caught up in Democrat versus Republican, because a lot of the strong men that I had as mentors growing up were Democrats, but they were traditional. Like, they were definitely traditional. So I gotta say that, and I don't even know if they would have described themselves as liberal back in the day. So yeah, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't want to.
Mika?
I think men can only be conservative or feminist. That's it. I don't think.
That's the only option. Be conservative or you're a feminist. I guess that would be true, because if you both of that stuff, that's your ideology. You support the ABs and all of these just egregious things. I guess you will be a feminist. A woman mindset, beta, as Jesse Lee Peterson would say. Let's just hit play. I ain't gonna even disappear on y'all.
You can't be masculine and be liberal. That it, to me, it doesn't work out the same. It doesn't work out in the same area, because you would have to go against what would be what men are supposed to be naturally, right? You're supposed to naturally be leaders. If you're following a group of women, or saying, okay, women can lead too, so naturally you're going to fall back and fall into your femininity, then no, that you can only be conservative and be masculine, or you're going to be a feminist, because otherwise everything you're talking about goes against what you're supposed to be as a man. Like, I don't see it any other way.
Kim?
I don't agree with that. I just don't like to box.
I like your shirt, Kim.
Thank you.
Polo is timeless.
I like the way the shirt is on her. But go ahead.
So I don't. I don't like to box people in that way. So, and I just don't think that your masculinity and your, like, I don't think your stance, whether you're liberal or conservative, is indicative of your masculinity. I can see where the chick in the video was going with that, and that makes sense, but I still think that you can have masculine liberals. I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
Well, where they at? Like, we talking about liberals of today, Democrat men of today. Even if they present, because I'm like, what if they think of masculine as just how they look physically, on how they carry themselves. But no, if they got them ideas in their head and they whining all the time, because in order to be a liberal and a Democrat, you got to whine all the time. And you have to be a victim. You have to be oppressed, and there's always somebody after you. So I would say, as a man, if you adapted that mindset, then yeah. So I don't know why Kimmy's saying those things.
But Kim is she's like me. She's like a words matter, and like liberal just mean you're open-minded.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It says generally refers to the political philosophy that emphasizes individual rights and freedoms. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're not masculine. To me.
Okay.
Do you think a man? Do you think a man?
You can
do you
only
think
be,
a man that'll?
that's why
support-
I said you can only be conservative or feminist, because what would be considered a quote unquote liberal right now is just feminist ideology. There's nothing over there that says masculine, like absolutely nothing. If you're gonna say you are for abortions, okay, that's an issue. That's an issue as a man, as a human being. But if you're for women doing all of the leadership roles, that tells me a lot about you there. Because why are you following me? You need to have the plan. Why am I coming up with it? That makes absolutely no sense to me. And most of those households are the reason why you have the high divorce rate. Like, it's usually liberal households with these high divorce rates. Well, she can do what she wants. So since she can do what she wants, she's divorcing you. She's taking your money, all this stuff. Like, there's nothing over there in the liberal sector that screams masculine to me, that screams, I have control, that I'm making the decisions. Because what I'm trying to figure out, what politician can you point to that screams masculine on a liberal side?
Right. What? Name one. Show me one. That's just exuberating that. And ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Like, don't do that. But who? Where at? Point to the right direction. Because once they get, even if they look good, they get to talking and opening their mouth, then you just be like, ugh, you so like, it's okay. So she definitely right about that.
I understand what you're saying, right? I'm not negating anything that you're saying. I'm just saying, I just feel like you can be both. You can be masculine and you can be liberal. I'm not here to put a label on somebody's masculinity.
But that's like saying that then
I want somebody to ask him, would she date? Like, find one that she'll date. I want to see him. Like, and then if, what do we, like, what is his thought process? Like, yeah.
then the whole argument that we have about femininity. Because if masculinity is fluid like that, then so is femininity. And I don't think
masculinity is not fluid.
I'm sorry?
Masculinity is not fluid.
It's assertive.
Which is my point. So, but you're saying that it can be something else, and I'm saying that I don't think you can actually have all of those qualities that quote unquote liberals now today say that they have, with what they support, what they're about, their agenda, and be masculine. Because there's nothing in that states masculinity. If a man comes up to me and tell me I'm for abortion rights,
You gonna let me wear the pants around this mug, and I'm
I,
gonna tell you what to
so
do.
I don't
I'm
know
gonna tell you
though,
go
dog.
wash them dishes.
There's a
What
lot of guys that be like, "Hey, you need to get rid of that
go
baby."
get rid of that baby? What the fuck? You that's masculine as fuck that kid. What you talking about?
Exactly.
There's a
Exactly.
lot of guys that are.
Guess what? Killing is masculine. They're killing babies. What's not masculine?
You know what? Why do you have to say that?
About a
No,
baby
no, no,
being
no,
Yeah,
no, no, no,
some
no.
guys
Don't say
will
that. Don't say
abandon
that.
that
Don't say that.
part
Killing
of
is not
being a
masculine.
conservative.
Killing
Some
is
guys
not
abandon
masculine.
being
Killing is
conservative.
not masculine. It's
But if
immoral.
you had to put it somewhere on
Thank you,
masculine and
Slimmy.
feminine,
Immoral. It's
you put
not
it on
yeah, you gonna
masculine.
put it on masculine side.
No, it's not masculine. It's immoral. Killing
not
is not. It's not masculine. There's no masculine or feminine that comes with killing someone. That's not
Yes,
true.
if you're taking up for
That's
your
I
family
not
and
think
you
that
kill
true.
someone in
That
the
men.
is
process,
not
that's
true.
masculine.
That
You
is
kill someone in
not
the
I
process
true.
of taking up for your
That is
family,
not
that's
true.
masculine.
You
Okay.
That is
talking
I
not
just
on
think that
true.
offspring though, Quentin? That's
liberals these
different.
days
That is
leave
not
more
true.
space, for indecisiveness, for like, it's whatever. You can do what you want to do. And I just think of a traditional man as very decisive, even if you
Because a man gonna let you do, I'm telling you, a woman gonna do what the man allow. Whatever he allow, however long, much of a loose rope that she get, she gonna go harder and harder. We only do what dudes allow us. The guys that don't go for that, we fall in line. The guys, once we notice that we kind of like move around a little bit, whoop, 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 blah, blah, blah. So, no, a man need to have control over his household leadership. And I don't mean like complete dominance or savageness or nothing like that, but leadership. Real leaders know what that look like. Real leaders don't have to say much. They exuberate leadership. Everything and the fruits of their labor, everything in their life shows that he's a leader. You need somebody that can guide your family. You need somebody that can protect you and your family. You need someone that will be a great father. So all this, and somebody that you can be naturally, because I will say, I firmly believe that all women are naturally submissive. I firmly believe that. Now, do I believe when women say, I need a man to, what's the saying? When the right man come along, then I can operate in my femininity. But I've learned that you need to already be feminine in order to get the man. That's just like the man saying, oh, when that right woman come along, then I'll let my masculinity come out. What? No, 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 no.
agree. It's like, this is what I believe, this is what it is. That, like, so to me, regardless of if we pick and choose the topic, even with the whole abortion thing, some people, it's not that they're pro-choice, they're pro-life, but they're like, whatever, it's your choice, whatever you want to do. So it's like, it's whatever. I think that more traditional men are just,
they're going to lead. They're going to
They
tell
So
you
are.
so
what it
wait.
is.
So it's so people who are considered liberal also are people who don't believe in war. It's some guys
Not
they just don't.
necessarily.
somebody said I'm
Can I
conflating.
can I
Wasn't she?
finish?
Did she
Can I
mention
finish speaking?
traditional or
Can I
clearly.
masculine?
finish speaking?
I thought she said
I'm
traditional.
sorry, Slimmy.
Can I finish speaking?
I see these liberals warmongering like a mug. I'm sorry, but okay.
Well, you cut me off
That's
when
why
I was
you can't put
talking,
everybody
Slim, and you wouldn't let me get my shit off, my nigga.
I wasn't on purpose.
Oh, I'm sorry. I added on to the cutoff. Sorry, Slimmy.
Yep. Let me out
in.
3 for 3 in this bitch.
All I was saying was that some people who feel like liberals are people who just don't promote war, right? It's not necessarily dudes who aren't masculine. That's all I was gonna say.
See, and that and I that's why I was trying to specify the way that I look at liberal in today's day. I believe that just the word in and of itself has it has a different meaning now than back in 1970 or 19 whatever, when maybe it was more so focused on one particular aspect like war. Now, like I said, I really think that when you think liberal, I mean, when you think liberal, what's the first topic that comes to you guys' minds?
Gay.
Liberal as a noun and adjective, like what are we talking about? Because it's pretty much across the board been the same since the dictionary.
No.
These people acting like that. Why is he acting like they don't know what we're talking about? Everybody can see that the liberals and Dems or whatever of today are nothing like your auntie and your granddaddies. Like, by far. These, like, all the stuff they push, support. And I will argue that I'd say about that.
It hasn't been the same. No, it
So
has not.
the definition of liberal has changed, is what you're telling me.
I believe
but
that
different forms.
like
if you want to say there's different forms and pick one, then I get that. But
that's why I'm asking you. So if somebody tells you I'm a liberal person, what do you think their views like? What comes to mind for you?
Like they're flighty, their temperament is like open-mindedness. They're like they're spacey, they're all over the place type of thing.
Okay, so that's even more so. So even if a certain topic does not come up, like gender or war, you're not proving my point, but you're kind of saying what I'm saying, which is you're kind of like, I'm open to whatever, it's whatever. And when I think of a man's, somebody said I'm conflating the point of traditional versus masculine. I thought she said traditional. When I think of a traditional man, I don't think of somebody who's flighty and just like open to whatever. I think of somebody who is very boom, boom, boom. Like, and you might not like what he stands for, but you know what he stands for. I feel like liberals today, you don't know what they stand for. They're just like, I'm open to whatever you want to do.
So are you not a man because you're not traditional?
No, that's why I asked what I thought she equated real man to traditional to conservative, but somebody said that I'm conflating masculine. Did she mention traditional? Mm-mm. Wasn't she talking about? Oh, my bad. I thought that we were talking about traditional conservative.
Well, it has to come up, and then traditional is the opposite of liberal.
Yeah, but what man is okay with feminism? Like, what man is okay with that? If you tell me that you're okay with that, there's absolutely no way that I can respect you.
But let's say he's not okay with that. Just like you can be okay with, let's say, abortion and not gays, right? But you would still be considered a liberal, even though you're not in agreement with all of those things together.
I don't. If you okay.
I don't believe that. Not by the left standards. If you don't agree with one little thing that they do, one little policy, one little narrative they trying to push, you're done. It's over. Like, so no, that don't happen often. That actually, I have not been seeing it happen. Maybe a couple of veteran people like that call out the cuckoo stuff. And I'm talking about higher ups, like people who actually write these laws, make decisions. Not you goofies.
If you're okay with abortion, that's also an issue, because if you're conservative, I see you having family values, which means you need to have discipline with what you're doing in sex, because those would come from, you would have a value-based system as a man. So usually anybody that just slings anything anywhere, gets anybody pregnant, to me, that's not very masculine, because you have no discipline. You actually don't know how to carry yourself. So I won't respect that. Like as a human being, yes, but as somebody that I would consider, or other women would consider, why would they respect somebody that doesn't have, a man that doesn't have control over himself? How are you going to have control over me? How are you going to have dominance over your family? How are you going to be able to do certain things if you can't control your own genitalia, your own life? Like, just all that I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over there. I can't get with it.
Right. You
Real men.
Yeah, so that was that. So tell me what y'all think. So do you think real men are only in the conservative party? Do you think that Democrat men are weak? Drop it in the comments why you like it, and you commenting and subscribing. Now, what I will go towards, because moving right along, so I found this panel on CNN. I told you this has probably been a topic of discussion, but now you got CNN talking about it. Talking about, this was from a comment that Clay Travis had made. Can't remember the exact comment, but the panel, and it was just basically about the Democratic Party men, how unstrong they are. So just look at this.
I mean, Eric Adams is still a Democrat-ish, right?
He does
You think he's masculine?
Look at Eric Adams is, Democrat-ish. First thing I'm screwing.
No, he's buff
Yeah,
for 63 years old. I was going to say Obama. When they said right away who's the most. Now, he's slim, but he's athletic. He plays ball.
But is he right that Republican, well, first of all, let me just show you the numbers, because actually the numbers maybe do suggest this. For young men under the age of 29, the swing from 2020 to 2024 in Trump's favor is pretty significant. 49 to 48, Trump to Harris. It's almost tied with young men. Trump did very well with young people relative to what he normally does. There's something going on here.
No, and I mean, this was why, Joe Rogan was so influential in this campaign. Joe Rogan has an audience mostly of young men. There was this whole big drama about whether Kamala Harris was going to give an interview to him, wound up not doing it. I think it's probably a mistake, although it probably didn't affect the outcome of the election. But, I mean, I think, what that guy said was pretty dumb, but it is not, it is not true. It is true that Democrats have a problem, especially with young men. I mean, that is a real fact.
So that, in a way, it validates what Clay Travis is talking about, because if you're trying to get young men, you're not going to get them on all policy points and all the. No, Joe Rogan knows karate, and sometimes he talk about drugs. That's good enough for me. Pete Hegseth was in Germany this week doing squats with like 220 on the bar outside for no reason. That's what the Democrat. I'm being silly, but
and you know what?
serious.
One of the other points that Clay Travis made, and I think this is true. We saw this in real time when Trump had the assassination attempt in Butler. That image of him raising his fist and saying "fight, fight, fight" was like a shot of testosterone in the arms of a lot of men. Mark Zuckerberg was like, "Oh my God." He's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And now look at where we are politically with some of these very people really turning politically toward Trump.
Those numbers that you just read, it's been happening for 10 years. This has been happening slowly but surely over time. I think that pollster in that clip earlier had said 2 out of 6 moderate men voted for Trump. Sorry, it was the majority of moderate men voted for Trump. Even over 20% of liberal men voted for Trump. There has been what is seen as I don't want to say a war on masculinity, but there has been this trend in the Democrats.
Oh, it's a war. What else is it? They spent all that time ostracizing them, calling them toxic, trying to demasculize them, trying to make them feminine, pick up all these feminist ideologies. And if you wasn't like that, then you was toxic or toxic masculinity, and you should be more like a woman and soft. And like, no, always hollering about the patriarchy. Please. It was an attack.
Democratic Party, or it's at least felt that the left is becoming more and more hostile to the things that are typically men. And you've seen John Fetterman talk about this idea of like patronizing, calling them bros, or that ad that looked like a spoof at the end of the race of like, real men do this. It's like, have you ever talked to a dude in your life? So in James Carville saying, we need to have less like, yappy voices and more men talking. And there are many men in the Democratic Party, West Moore, others.
Democratic messaging is too feminine. But Carrie, what do you think is the masculinity that they are attracted to in Trump?
I'm laughing because no disrespect to you lovely men on this panel.
We do have
but you men are something. That's all, you know. And I can see the appeal of Donald Trump being a very strong masculine man, and I can see him winning over men, because I do agree the Democratic Party, for all intent and purpose, felt like a place for the others, and they tried to take on every issue that the Republicans didn't want. If you want to talk about trans, come here. If you want to talk about LGBTQIA, come here. If you want to talk about men and women, you know, in sports, come here. There were all of these things that I felt.
Not things, all of this gay stuff. So gay. That's what it was. Not things. Say what the things are, like you did, but then just say not all of these things. Say all of this gay stuff. That's what I was saying.
Men wanted to say felt emasculating. It felt like, I'm not with that. I don't believe in that. And I'm going to go over here because they're saying what I'm thinking.
And the abortion issue played a role in that. I mean, I think they did a political calculation.
And I think no one cared about abortion.
The big thing.
I think no one cared about it. I think everyone thought that was the issue. And when it was all said and done at the end of the day, I'm not saying I don't care about abortion. But what I'm saying is when Kamala made that one of her huge talking points, when Michelle campaigned for her, that was a huge talking point. And then in my mind, I'm all like, well, what happened to these people? I knew that people would be upset about that. And it felt as if it didn't matter, although it does. It felt as if it didn't matter because the conversation about manly men, as we just saw that young man say on the panel, what is his name again?
Clay Travis.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so first of all, the AB situation, no. Nobody's thinking about unaliving babies all day, every day. Why would regular people, see, this goes back to the whole purpose of the video. Why would mentally sane people think about unaliving babies all the time? Why would we run a whole campaign? Why would we keep talking about? Because that's nothing that we just think about. Sane people. Because let's be clear. Most people know that these abortions or ABs are not being had for medical reasons or because it's the life of the mother or anything like that. They're doing it and using it like birth control. They do it because they want to do what they want to do and not be held accountable, but they want to take another life just so they don't have to deal with their BS. Now, why are we talking about this? Because remember, we still trying to find out if the Democratic men weak. Is it a testosterone thing? Like, what is it? So we need to find out. I ran across this TikTok of this guy, and it was very interesting. And I want y'all to look at it.
Are happier than liberals. We just came out with a recent study showing that among young women aged 18 to 40, liberal men are about 3 times as likely to be very happy or actually completely satisfied with their lives compared to conservative women. And a lot of the story is about the way in which they're more likely to be married, and then other work I've done, happily married, and then also they're more likely to be religious. So we find in this recent study, for instance, that a majority of young women who are conservative are married, and only a minority of young women who are liberal are married. We find the majority of conservative women are attending religious services on a regular basis compared to a very small minority of liberal women. And so I think the point here in part is that kind of being integrated into core institutions of American life, marriage, faith, is a big reason why conservative women, for instance, are happier than liberal women. We are social animals, Chris. And when we are connected to other people, like in the context of marriage or some kind of faith community or other forms of community, we tend to be much more likely to flourish. So what we're seeing today is that conservative women in this new research are more likely to be connected to these core institutions that give our lives meaning, direction, purpose, and a sense of happiness as well.
Yeah. So I say that, just kind of wrap his technical context of it. Because conservative people believe in God, they believe in family. They practice these values. They love their country. They believe that you can build yourself up by your own merit. They don't have this gloom ideology and this gloom outlook on life because we have a foundation. The foundation is God. Or at least trying to strive to be like him or, to live his ways. But either way, we're striving to do that. We cannot spend our time now. If you look at the liberals, and I blame this on the media and I blame this on the higher ups in the party because they pour down and they use fear to get their votes. There's no wonder that people are literally losing their mind. You got like liberals and Democrats lose their mind, crying all over the internet because all they tell them is they oppressed. White man bad. You ain't gonna never make it. You need us. Let us give you free stuff, and then everything will be okay. But they've been doing it for the last I don't know how long, and it's not okay. In the last I don't know how many decades, since 1986, we have only had 4 Republican presidents. 2 of those presidents was the same person, Donald J. Trump. So technically, 3 Republican presidents since 86. Who been running this country the whole time? Wake up, people. Whatever you complaining about, you blaming the wrong folk. So when I read that, I found this from Columbia University. And it's a study that they did. Let me just add this to the stage. Last long so I can see. Why are depression rates higher among liberals? Now, this was done in the spring or summer of 2023. So American adults who identify as politically liberal have long reported lower levels of happiness and psychological well-being than conservatives, a trend that mental health experts suspect is at least partly explained by liberals' tendency to spend more time worrying about stress-inducing topics like racial injustice, income inequality, gun violence, and climate change. Now a team of Columbia epidemiologists have found evidence that the same pattern holds for American teenagers. The researchers analyzed surveys collected from more than 86,000 12th graders over a 13-year period and discovered that while rates of depression have been rising among students of all political persuasions and demographics, they have been increasing most sharply among the progressive students, and especially among liberal girls from low-income families. The authors, who include Columbia professors Catherine M. Keyes, I guess 2010 PhD, Seth Prince, I don't care about that degrees, Lisa M. Bates, along with graduate student and lead author Catherine Gimbrone, speculate that the left-leaning teens may have been deeply affected by Donald Trump's election as president and the U.S. Supreme Court's subsequent lurch to the right, rising socioeconomic inequality, and worsening political polarization. Quote, liberal adolescents may have therefore experienced alienation within a growing conservative political climate, such that their mental health suffered in comparison to that of their conservative peers whose hegemonic views were flourishing. End quote. They write. Now, I want to focus on this right here. Because don't do that. Don't do that. Affected by Donald Trump's election. No. Why would they be that affected by Donald Trump's election? Who told them that Donald Trump was Hitler? Huh? Who told them that it was going to be the end of the world? Who told them that the sky was falling? Huh? Who told them that? Who told them the sky was falling? Who told them that they was taking away all their rights as women? And now being passive aggressive because they were all lies. But don't sit here and say because of if it was because of the election, it was because of the fear that you put into them as children in these schools, indoctrinating them. Fear, fear, fear. Always talking about somebody's gonna be unalived. Where's the damn joy? Like, what is wrong with y'all? But then y'all always want to blame Trump for everything. But with that being said, I'm gonna get on up out of here. But I did want to leave y'all with something that was pretty entertaining to me. You know? And I made a little compilation for you. And we're gonna watch it. And then y'all let me know, do you think liberal men are weak?
Doesn't give a fuck if you die! These sick bastards in the house just passed their big, beautiful fucking bill. And it's full of cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP. That means poor people, sick people, disabled people, hungry families. Apparently your survival is too fucking expensive.
Matters. Telling the truth matters. Being a good person matters. And it's easier for a whole lot of people.
Pen. I'm sorry that I have anxiety. Okay, and honestly, yeah, it is kind of the fault of people like you that want to come up here and bully and berate me over something that I don't do. Okay, so cut the shit. It's not a vape. All right, it's an anxiety pin, and God, the amount of times that I've asked you to respect me and respect my anxiety pin is at this point.
I'm like a full-time student. I get scheduled for 25 hours a week, and then on weekends they schedule me the entire day, open to close. I'm on the schedule for 8.
Okay, hold on. I didn't want to stop it, but I just wanted to say that I know I said that liberal men, but I'm not absolutely sure if that's a real man. Let me know in the comments.
8.5 hours, both Saturday and Sunday. I'm like 3.5 hours into my shift. There's so many customers, and we have 4 people on the floor all day. Only 5 people were put on the schedule, and somebody had to call out. And there are 4 people running the whole store, and there's so many customers, and there's possibly scheduled 5 people.
Okay, so you seen that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are liberal men weak? Do they have low testosterone? What's going on? What's going on, liberal women? Now, we know liberal women, that's a whole nother video. They are dangerous. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, drop me a comment, or just say hey. I'm just another brown girl in America. My name is Nikki Green. I'm signing out. Peace out.